Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. So last time we came to a pretty solid decision that this argument is being overwritten on the stack, resulting in a value not being passed through. Now, what I never quite remembered to do was to try and do some research on that. Hey, Yaroslav. Need the exact version, system type. Well, if I reference a pre-built repository, they can hopefully get that. Complete command line, so that's going to be part of narrowing if we get there. Save temps. Yeah, that's been narrowing. Some of the time, well, it's been pretty. Yeah, so we need to check. Oh. So this isn't even the right place. So we're in two projects, or we've observed this in two projects. So I guess we have to track down NGW and MSys2. Which apparently has two pages. Yeah, minimal self-contained test case. Base package, it is platform independent. Okay, so they want you to report to them, then get confirmation. Now, that's the package maintainers. So I don't know if they're maintaining like the GCC package. Yeah. Depreciated, obsolete. Repository updates. Issue tracker postings. All right, ticket list. Dates are kind of all over the place. So they actually don't have too many. We might need to look at closed, though. Component? MSys2, yeah. I don't know. Why are they... Is it part of the same group? Oh, this is... like all of the bugs here. Okay. Boy. See melt. Wait, this is not searching the archive. Yeah, we're just gonna read through the entire archive to check if there's a duplicate. Well, I guess it's not very busy. Well, okay, so July is new. Link or undefined reference. Well, I might want to look for the Strawberry Pearl. Well, that's technically M664. Where were we? Bad file name. That's W64. Well, so GNU wants you to talk to package maintainers. So I might have to bounce it off of them to get a confirmation that it's a cross-platform thing. Where is GCC bugs? Let's still look at the bug tracker, because if it's known, then, geez, is this a stack overwrite? Is this argument? It's the problem is finding it. Initialized warning. Geez, and this is just this week. How would you even search for this? Well, there's less stuff in this week. Miscompiles Python. Bad SIMD register allocation? I don't know that SIMD. Clang might get used in the like the Mac Docker build. What's a TLS variable? Thread local storage. Yeah, I wouldn't call that thread local storage. Invalid bytecode generation. Well, it's bad results from long rich compare. Now, I think there may have been a compare call. Unavailable function definitions from outside translation units. Oh, well, they're on GCC 10. Okay, so this is a 910. This is actually a 10 bug. It's not going to be 9 if it's a diff. So if we do get a self-contained example, we might be able to look at the assembly diff. That's an interesting thing. This is like some low-level stuff. What is this? Bad SIMD register allocation. Yeah, that's pretty specific to the SIMD stuff, it looks like. Yeah, I was hoping, I mean, maybe we have to get it down to a small example to find the right search terms. As nice as it would be to just find it reported and not have to deal with that. But I just don't, it's like, there's a lot of bugs. I don't know that I even understand it well enough to search for it in this mess. It's like, how is that relevant? All right, well, I guess we have to do some narrowing here. All right, so let me remember what our environment was here. So we were in this MinGW, this MSys. Okay, we've never done it in a way that remembers anything. Documents. So we were here. For now, we will need to be executing in something like that environment. Once we get things sufficiently stripped, we can hopefully try putting it into its own file. Okay, so that was that. We are definitely expressing bug right now. So we need an alternate version of this function that we can be tearing apart. Okay, so screen GL. Since this is a member function, yeah. So our first step, well, might have to be a constructor function. It might need its own class. We will have to see. And what were we doing? Did we not have anything in here to? Oh, this is not screen GL's SDL. Now, M full screen. Okay, so those are the member variables. For this test, we just want in full screen and in do not change resolution. That's just this local environment, okay. So why were you indented so much? Oh, because I was copying this from someplace else. I was trying to get stuff done. Right, Optlog doesn't need that, and Once we do that, we really don't care. Now, it's not a new call. Oh, right. If it's a member function, we need an instance. Maybe we can get to like a static function later. Oh, yep, it's a pointer. I guess a constructor kind of is a static function. And then that result is an applog. Full screen 1, native 0. Well, that's the same thing as we're seeing from screen, so that's... Okay, so a member function is sufficient. Such giant functions. Jeez. Yeah, it's main function. So that will not need a separate declaration because it's just declared above here. I wonder if this is at a point where printf would actually work. Oh. So it has something to do with it being a member. And or a constructor. I guess, well, a constructor could be after you've got the this. I'm thinking of like Ruby where it's more of a class method. No, new is a class method and then initializes instance method. So it has something to do with, I guess, the extra calling for this. Okay, so does it depend on the memory layout of our object? All right. So it is class, public. We have determined it's not specifically a constructor, but if we have to construct an instance, yeah, but I mean, just in terms of how it impacts the compiler. Oh, okay, here's the thing I lost. I lost the initializers. Expected constructor, deconstructor, or type conversion. Am I forgetting how regular function declaration works? I don't do that very much anymore. Right, needs are right, because this is not a constructor anymore. Okay, so it is not the default arguments. Well, I guess if it's going to be a constructor, now the constructor itself did not have a type. I think, let's say over deleted stuff. And we were doing this in the context of a new. Types may not be defined in a return type. Wrong window. We need a semicolon. Oh, we got a bunch of inline things. Man, we might use a semicolon. Yeah, so that was looking like the type signature for that. Okay, it doesn't like, this is probably just unused variable. Yeah. Native 0. Okay, so it has something to do with being a member function, so probably passing the this pointer. But we've removed that entire screen GL from it. So the other things, will the regular printf work here? I mean, at some point it probably will, but I don't know where he's doing the printf redirection. Printf. Okay, it is currently before where this gets called. Now, we might be able to, well, I need to pull out the arguments for this at some point. See if we can test sooner. So right now we're set up with this screen width, full screen, target frame rate, record game, custom data, get window title. All right. All right, main function. SH core. Oh, DPI awareness, huh? This probably doesn't affect our calling stuff. Oh, and this is 132. All right. This might still be the same variable scope as some of this other stuff, though. Could we do this? Maybe it would still be a conflict. And from our function declaration, this should be, mind you, and that was a function call, so it's probably fine. I mean, probably want to get rid of that because I think the regular variable worked. Target frame rate, int. I guess it probably was 1, but it shouldn't matter. All right, and then we've got, well, these are const char. Custom data, which these probably are values, but it's const char. Okay, and that's get window title. Okay, so this is like duplicate. Not declared in the scope. Okay, so that is typo. Full screen. All right, I was looking at the declaration, not what we're passing. Okay, we've got 2 copies of it. First one will exit, so that's fine. Okay, and we're still not printifying to the screen. I guess that's why it does stand out. Okay, 1, 0. Let's see, so other things we want to get rid of. These are a bunch of object pointers. With custom types we would have to put into our example. Oh, am I doing this before the app log gets set up? Because we're super early here. Set log file. Okay, too soon. Oh, okay. So that means we weren't getting good results. Well, all right. So is this something with the environment? It should be like a screen GL. Did you fail? Unspecified type specifier. New screen GL. Oh, I guess we're already in scope of this screen. Maybe? Or maybe it's like a outer scope variable. Expected type specifier. Well, what did I typo here? Ah. Yeah, he does that a lot. Uh, to 1041. Native 1. Native 1, native 1. So at this point in the program, or with these arguments, we're not having trouble. Well, I guess, because what I want to do, now these will probably be scope conflicts. Yeah, so this should just be overwriting all of this stuff. Except those might be const car pointers, or, well, the pointer is two consts. Converting a string constant to car. Oh, so those were cars, okay. Okay, so that's a small difference, maybe? No, okay. So this is something in the environment. It's not the exact arguments. Well, I've been looking at my test function. And we did change the type of things. But then I also had the screen be, or is it confused? Yeah, it's just confused. It's just the syntax highlighter. So this has something to do with the arguments then. Maybe, I wonder if it's optimizing them out. Oh, no, I have this thing on. So it's not getting down there. Okay. So given all the same values in, we're getting a different result here than here. Maybe the compiler is doing some optimization because it says, oh, well, this is obviously a constant. How would we make something that is test data that is not obviously a constant? No, wait. What are we seeing? No. It's the It's not, it can't be it. As we're seeing 0, 0 there. We're seeing 1, 1 if we did the screen up here. One, one. Okay. So this much, it's all the same inputs. Now, this is only used within this block. I wonder... Is it all going to previously defined? Now, the problem is I'm probably defining these above where... Okay, so you're like... Okay, so your top level, game width, game height, target frame rate. Oh, so these are local variables versus like global variables. Okay, so full screen. Yeah, so there's a car full screen there and a car full screen here. What if we went back to the scope, but got all the variables in the alternate form? All right, so record game. What was record game? You were a flag, so you are an int. And then these were in fact their own independent car pointers. We're writing a string card. Oh, well, because he was actually reading that. Unused verb. Yeah, I know. 0. Oh. So this has something to do with these variables being global. Okay. All right, so what were we doing with our function signature? We had successfully turned all of these into voids. All right, so we've got a reproduction at this spot. Am I getting this in standout? Because that would get rid of all the applog stuff. Okay, yeah, we're still dumping something somewhere, and we were doing the memory dump of the object right from our screen. So we are definitely seeing our printf here. So we can simplify that a little bit, and well, that means we're going to be getting our log in a different place. And then where is, it's going to be like screen GL, SDL, no. Although I guess I could just have you printf as well. And your initializer, just because that's where we're seeing other stuff going. So there's initializer. Where are you? Game SDL? And then you are test. And where's the window? Is that you? Okay. And oh. What did we change? I thought that was just moving the printf around. Well, oh, okay, so for one thing, something didn't save there. I think all I changed was eplog. Okay, so now it won't actually print to here. So we want to do like and tail log.text. Wait. Oh, this is initializer. So I undid this somehow. Um, um, what the? Okay, so with no call, so it's being affected by the fact that it's calling applog? This might be affecting how the function is setting up its stack for whether it needs to do like a member function call or not. Uh, that unfortunately is going to make for a fairly involved example because we have to do something that we have to figure out what's going on here. Okay, that's playback. But you are in screen GL, so it's doing enough stuff that that it has to allow for this on the stack, I guess. So we actually did convert this one to printf, but it's still showing the error. Okay, well, so given the limitation that we have that, Can we do anything else? All right, so we're calling it here. We should not need this one. We're going to have to be maintaining that as we go. We don't want to have to do that. We've got 3 copies of it already. Well, okay, so here's... We decided it did have to be a member function, I think. A member function or a constructor? I've got a little bit of a better test set up now. So what would that be? That would be taking you out. And now you need a return type. And of course, right, those are going to be actually for editing this one. Okay, so in our current setup, it does have to be a constructor or member function. Now, the point is, you are down here, and you are up here. Does it... That's passing these explicitly. Does it care about these? Oh my gosh, these error windows, though. Unqualified. What did we mess up? Tested unqualified ID before int. Oh, we didn't put this back. Error. Turn type oh, right. Another little change. Okay, that is expressing bug again. Okay, does not seem to be related to those being default values. Syntax highlighting got very confused. It is related to doing a bunch of nulls at the end, though. How many does it need to be? I guess it'll actually be easier to... Leave the end one and vary the number of these. Oh, well, we messed something up bad there. How about a comma? Okay, that is not doing it either. So it's at least 2. It's specifically 3 nulls, huh? Okay, well, that's interesting. So, what else can we take out? Missed one. Okay, so having a function call right before it, maybe. What is getWindowTitle? GetWindowTitle is probably another string of some sort. Okay. Now that was still a basically inlineable thing. Putting like a global variable there might change that. So it matters that the thing before the nulls is not inlineable. It matters there's an argument here. Probably means it matters if there's an argument here. Yep. Well, oh boy, this is going a lot farther than I expected. All right, record game. Maybe it's number of arguments? Rather than their specific types? So, like, what if... I think that'll actually kind of work. Oop. Okay, so that matters. Yes, there must be something weird with the way it's packing stuff. Like having this interruption in the cars. Or we were just going on and maybe it's just total arguments. No, because we flipped the one thing to int, right? And that changed it? Okay, so this is actually the thing we're testing. Does it matter that we have other arguments up here? Yeah, total number of arguments is looking... That is very specific. All right, we need to make this a bit easier to work with. And I guess technically you guys have been there too. Oh, this is just fabulous. Well, this, we still have the app log problem. So like that function might be pullable into a separate file. But if we don't do something with app log, how about... Zero, zero. Okay, so the app log get log is sufficient to trigger whatever it's doing. It is a static function. Well, app log, I told you that. mPointer wrapper.mlog. Log pointer wrapper, wrap our static member in a statically allocated class. New print log. Upload an executable with the broken parameter. What, do you just want to be poking around the debugger? Let's see. So, current status. Oh, well, depending on what you want to be looking at. Okay. All right, so that is without the app log print, but we've got the get log in there that's still tripping it up. And that is in here. Let's let's see if Discord allows executables. No, not that channel. Oops. Apparently that executes it. Wait. Or did I execute something else? Yeah, that I dragged it onto something else and it tried to pass it to the file. Yeah, so standout would be your main feedback. I'm catting both the logs in the command. Yeah. Yeah, so wherever it does exit is going to get you really close to the test call. So we might be able to kind of pull this out into its own little file. And then try to get some sort of static function or function wrapping a something that will trigger it. Well, actually, we can still do that in here. Well, I guess I still want to make it easier to test, but in here we can switch back and forth. So applog getlog is a static function that is referencing a global variable. Oh, and it's a static member of itself. Okay, so the type is declared in the header file. It is unfortunately protected, but we're hacking things up. So it's a static function referencing a static variable. What if Now you see, just returning null here would probably mess a lot of things up. Because a lot of things are going to go get log and print. Well, so log pointer wrapper is in applog.h. Public mlog. So we don't actually care about the value of this. Actually, if we have applog, we can probably use that directly for now. So what does that mean? If we have a global your wait, log pointer wrapper, applog m pointer wrapper. So that's okay, that's initializing the static value. I stumbled into it appears to be a compiler error in GCC the other day, trying to rebuild my compiler environment for 1 Hour 1 Life modding. So normally it would be a mod of a public source game, but right now I'm trying to narrow down this bug so it can be reported if it's not already reported. And right now I just don't know enough about it to even find the bug in a list that's getting dozens of entries per day. So does that mean I can do this thing like this? Oh. Because right now it is a actual full thing. And then there's not the get logs. This would just be referencing. Well, it is referencing mlog. Okay. So it might be specific to that static function call. Now, does it matter that it's a static function in a different object? What were you called? Mlog pointer wrapper. You're an instance. And then you're and you are still a log pointer wrapper. Does that even compile? Well, it's not going to compile because we don't have this reference. I think that's still going to be public. I think I made everything public. Uh, okay, no, it doesn't like that. Candidate, log pointer wrapper, log pointer wrapper log. Okay, I copied something wrong here. Static. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Now it is in the same class. And it is protected. I guess there's that. I was in back in app log, right, for comparison. Hmm. Now, there are other things in nearby code that are also calling this get log function. So maybe it can tell that other things are referencing that, or that just it's in a different translation unit. Because this is not really concise enough to be a reproducible bug right now. What's different here? We just have to have them as separate files? All right, well. Okay, so we are in minor gems. We are referencing minor gems. That's a separate translation unit. I think we sometimes reference over to minor gems, and then we just have to make sure that we compile, well, applog if it doesn't depend on anything else. Depends on log.h. And there's sort of an implicit dependence on like print. Right, if that's applog.cpp, applog.cpp doesn't seem to reference print log. Okay, you reference print log. So to actually do the test with the applog, we would have to probably include a bunch of other objects. And then see if we could get our own external file reference. And get a lot of static members and things. I see you're all static. Singleton wrapper. Now, I guess we never reference this value. Other things do reference the get log value, so it's not like the entire thing can be optimized out. This could get a little bit weird, since they're both going to potentially trying to open the same file. Okay, yeah, so it might be a usage thing. Or it's like, you never use that variable. Or you never use it as, what is the type? It's a log pointer. Yeah, so we never use this. Other things use the result of that function. So applog getlog is sufficient by itself. If we do it, we have to call something on the result to make sure it doesn't get like sort of optimized out. All right, so having discovered that, can we condense this down to a single object? Yes, we can. So we need something here that gets used somewhere. Now, so what's happening here? We are referencing a static variable of some object. And does this actually matter? No. Does the fact that it's a function call matter? Okay, so you are static. So with applog, that's sufficient to just reference it. Applog. Of course, this will be another blind reference. So I might have to, in fact, do this as, let's start with there. Change the header file. Okay, so that's sufficient now. How about that? Okay, so applog in reference is not sufficient. Applog getlog is, but that's used elsewhere. Applog, yes, this has to be some sort of like dead code elimination. It's like it sees a common sub-expression that gets used elsewhere and keeps it. All right, well, to get a thing that doesn't involve the entire applog. That's still wrapping a print log. So I almost need, Would it be sufficient mlog pointer wrapper and log just to make sure we're referencing our use of the value. There's no member named mlog. Capital. Okay. That is not sufficient to trigger it, however. Even though we're using this value, We have to call the function somewhere in here. So is it specific to that thing, or can it be any object with a member? Like if we had a member function, would be so that might be a different case than calling a different object. That's going to be like this. Okay, yeah, that doesn't do it. Is it sufficient to say probably missed something there. Like maybe a semicolon for one. And a colon. It is no longer test foo. That is sufficient. Do we leave anything else here? Because getting rid of this whole static thing would be great. I'll have to format specifier. Okay. Can we now that removes a whole lot of incidental complexity that we've been pulling in. So any call to another object must affect the way it prepares the stack or something. All right, now I think this is something that could be pulled into a completely isolated program. So we've actually been compiling in the directory of this stuff, but hopefully we can get this down to just more or less a single command. Okay. Yank it please. Oh. Actually, well, this is like sort of in JSON's, but we're going to be publishing it elsewhere. All right, main function is not main. When main linker error on 132. Ah, but it was just an indirection. Keeps doing that. Why does it decide that I am done? I'd swear, I guess maybe my configuration overrode. I'd swear that I set up a thing that was like, here's some helpful Windows shortcuts. That would do things like copy and paste. All right, now, oh, right, some of these were global variables, and that seemed to maybe matter. And the immediate exit doesn't matter so much anymore, because that's just the last thing we do. All right, so what does this look like? I might still have to do something with standout here. Actually, no, it'd be G++, probably, right? And there might be some other flags and things we have to account for. Ah, yeah, we're gonna have so stand.io, stand lib. A string to char. Okay, so those are, we should probably clear out those warnings before we're done. Okay, and then these functions, which I forgot to check that before, but I know for at least one of them, just using a variable had the same effect. Oh, and we still had title hanging around. Oh, wait, did we determine that the function call was actually still important there? We may have, but that's like a trivial static function. Is it -o? Oh, and that actually does print out. Okay. So that ended up getting defined in game CPP. Which means, well, I should probably make this. Da, 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 da. For that one, it mattered that it was a function. Might have to go back to some narrowing in the other one. All right, well. Okay. So it did not survive that transplant. Are all these types right? Those were initialized. And so actually, as long as those are initialized, we probably don't need... Probably don't need to do them here. Okay, confirmed. We have been testing this with a screen call. Boy. So we originally moved this down because we needed the epilogue. We no longer need the epilogue. Really? Really? Well, we're doing some DLL loading here. Wheelie. Nope, I still got the old spot. Load library. Set DPI awareness. So these printfs aren't happening. At least that I've been noticing. Okay, I put that in a conditional zone somewhere. Well, we know that branch isn't executed. Oh, that was the failed to load. No, that was an else inside of something else. Native 0. Okay, set process DPI awareness in share DLL, set awareness. How is that affecting? Well, is that affecting its native? No, because that's a constant result from that function. In user 32 DLL, how is that changing code generation? Maybe it's changing the data that's on the stack at that address by not making that call? So what specifically are you looking at with generate assembly? All right, so a bunch of DLL stuff would make for a pretty involved case. It might just be that it's like any function call, but it might have to do specifically with what happens in that function call in terms of, well, what we saw before was that it was overwriting the stack. And it appeared to be specifically overwriting it with zeros. Still, this would be easier to do assembly investigation if this was the entire thing. All right, we expect to find this. We do our own type def, we do our own type def. Interestingly, oh yeah, loaded successfully. Indentation's all messed up. No, actually, you're that, you're that. Oh, yeah, but now we've got whole bunches of stuff that might be indirectly included in somewhere else. Is that coming from SDL? Right, so SDL is actually swapping to WinMain, I guess. And doing its SDL main. Huh. Well, this is all Windows stuff, right? T was not declared in this scope. Is that a Windows thing for like doing some kind of character conversion? Text. Turn your literal into a Unicode wide character literal with Unicode support. The C runtime library. But what header do we need for it? Is obsolete, Unicode based, self, so L. Nope. Const W chart. So we still have to get, where is this defined? Stands for double underscore T? Unicode in any case, if defines Unicode. Well, that's for text. No effect removed by preprocessor. Unicode defined, C defined. Now, so is it saying that it complained about that being L when it wasn't? LPC stir. Now wait, I left an L in there. Okay. So it has to be something in just whatever garbage is on the stack? Or in something SDL's doing? But all of this stuff does not directly reproduce it. So that would be significant liability to a example. And yet, we see that calling or not calling that function changes our results. Now, Unfortunately, we don't have something in this style of environment. Where we can see, or it would be a relatively manageable amount of code. I guess we could look at this code before and after. So this is the one that reproduces the error. Which is after that. And we can toggle it just by not calling that function. So what did we do? Okay, so loaded, we need this file. What was it? SDL.cpp. No source file. Do we not load the binary? No, because we got this thing twice. So what did we do here? Now screen GL, SDL. No, it was game SDL. Maybe I deleted the call I had. Because I've been shuffling this code around, which was kind of what had it. Oh, it's break? Oh, I think B did it. Okay, typoed something. Signal was received. Oh. So I guess that was a little bit late. How about 1537? Oh, okay, so that was supposed to be 38. Have I not recompiled this? Nothing to be done. All right, well, how about 1463? What? So we've got no source information. So this was working fine the other day. Now I guess we were breaking in much later in the process. We also weren't calling exit. Okay, that was still there was no update, so it shouldn't have done that. But we do have to recompile now. So so what do we say? Like 1438 is what we wanted. Right. File not found. So this was working quite well. I forgot to remove. Wait, other foo. Huh. So this was doing fine the other day. And that, no, actually this, seems fine. Oh, it probably has to be an MSys shell to maybe get the compiler environment? It's like it figured out the path. It's down in there. Oh, okay, so that is 1438. Where did we? 1463. And now we got a signal. What the heck? All right, you are not 1998. We used to be breaking in somewhere around 2068. And now we're getting signals that we were not getting the other day. Maybe I do have to be in the other environment. Da, 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 da. And we need to be build. One life. Windows 343. That was wrong. Main function. File not found. I know it's not being run. Okay, we copied something here. I think we decided 1438 is at least now wrong. This is now like 2068. Okay, so I guess we had to have the right GDB. So where we actually want to stop is main and in a completely different build where we actually have our test stuff. Oh, hey, okay, should we rebuild? How about we turn this back on? And then 1538. That would explain that. Nah, I still need to recompile. Why far we now have source code? Oh. Forgot about that thing. All right. So why are we getting different results? So 2F8. Somewhere we see that again. Move EBX ESP. Move EAX2 minus that. Didn't we see it overwritten with zeros somewhere? No, it's loading this stuff in EBX, EBX, EAX. So we should have like width, height, flag, flag. There's EAX. It's loading it from there. Oop. Didn't quite want that. Didn't we trace through and see that getting overwritten somewhere? So this is... Oh. There you go. Oh. ESP plus 2C. So one of the... So what was it? Like ESP is going to be stack pointer. Oh, 32-bit base pointer? That's EBP. Yeah, EBP. Backup of the stack pointer. So what? It's... Is that what it's using like during function calls or something to after a function is done? So because it's doing a function call setup, it's mucking with that. And we incidentally have function calls in the middle of this. But we are seeing side effects from previous function calls. So to understand that, okay. Yeah, so what search terms do we use to see if this is a known bug? Okay, so I mean, even with like stack or argument, it's a lot of stuff. There's also the problem that we can't get the super condensed case for this. So maybe it has to do with like calling some DLL function first. What was the case that we're actually doing? In S-core. So this is the call it's making. Move one argument to ESP. Make the call. There was no useful return value. And it treats that as memory. It doesn't. Well, it's probably going to be down here. Oh, actually, 5.6. Yes, free the library. So actually, free library is the most recent. Even if we comment this out, we still do free library. So that's not different. So do you think that probably is a result of just the number of arguments causing the stacks to collide? Well, number and size. Okay. So FE08, FAE4. Yeah, and that's what we've been trying to narrow down. It has something to do with having like another member function call inside of the thing you're calling. It seems to be affected, well, okay. So if we can see that this is colliding, what does happen in, let's see, game STL. So we saw that set DPI awareness in shell core. Uncommenting that line changed the behavior. But putting that same call in line of, oh, I wonder if I skipped the free library call when I copied it. Because I was trying to keep it minimal. Oh, and because that actually, that fixed it everywhere. Do we still have, but the line number I feel is wrong. Was it 1538? So this would have to come down to registers, right? Not highlighting them this time. FE08, those look like the same values to me. Did that actually print out that way? Okay, we're not really using this file anymore. Okay, so that's all of that log file. That's there's more stuff in that log file. Okay, yeah, yeah. With that, everything results changed. So is it a memory corruption thing where it happens to be grabbing a one instead of a zero? Okay, so there's the call. Boop boop. ESP plus 2C. Oh, yeah, there's the nulls. So if those are overlapping, how does this not mess that up? One machine instruction skipping over. Okay, so AL. Well, it doesn't break that down, but it's part of AX. Goes into EAX. And then that's into EBP, which is where that's going EBP minus. But that's up. So we were saying it was close to this. But where is that? So it wrote to ESP. E0. C4FA E0. F7E8. Well, then that isn't the same. Of course, the problem is when you start doing this type of stuff, then you get a lot of memory, and we kind of lose the debugger. I probably should have moved this down. It's like it's so easy to kill. Well, it's like, then you have to do the math in order to get this window right. What I still don't have is a sufficiently concise example, because right now it's like we have to load a DLL. Well, yes, requesting that much memory just completely kills it. Now, I think I may have missed the free library last time, as I was trying to not copy everything. But we need that for that entire branch. Okay, so that's everything there. We have to go back to... And we have to fix this thing. Nope, that's not sufficient once again. Commenting this out is sufficient to change the behavior in the other one, but adding it is not sufficient to break the isolated test case. So we still don't have an isolated test case. That would be like terribly useful to anybody. Oh, yeah, I forgot about going back to all the makefile stuff. So that's only a compiler and a linker. So platform compile flags. I think these are all warnings. Debug on flag. Profile on flag. Optimize flag is optimize off flag. Yes, we don't have a problem with that. But this, now we're back to the Windows thing. All right, you were makefile, so you were my context for this. Oh. Did I take the exit out of this one? I guess I did. No, this doesn't need an exit. What the? Oh, I pasted it into the console. Did that destroy my entire command line? Oh, and we've got our T again. Oh, there was another one. Yeah, not having the effect. So this actually goes through a linking process. So yeah, so we have to consider all the linker flags. I don't know, is that accessible? Or to go through everything again? Compile flags, link flags. Link flags is blank. XC link, app name, layer object, platform link flags. Don't know where that comes from. I guess it's there if you need it. What do we get ourselves into here? And something in there is what kills our standout. Minus M windows. Well, I can't get output now. It's also not exiting. I don't know what it's doing now. All right, went too far. All right, so it found a main this time. Step over, step over, step over. step into these. I get a little bit nervous about. Okay, what we care about here is local variable. Yeah, okay, so that has not changed our behavior. So it's like we need a very specific set of values on the stack. So actually it was the call site. Oh, this is per function. Oh, no, it's local area. All right, you know what? I don't want to mess with all this DLL stuff. Give me, think for the follow. If you have any insight, please help. So there's no point in actually executing this now because we can't get results from it. All right, so we've got stop at main. So there's a lot less going on here. So we got different, probably easier to follow offsets. Maybe it's the stack size. So we call this, we stick it back into EBP. Right, we're not actually running yet. Six FF18 FEA0. Oh, we're not actually up to there yet. Did we just skip all of main? No. Okay, so those are more familiar type of addresses. Oh, no, these are still 6. Unfortunately, it's not very good at figuring out. Well, I guess it would be, you could click from these, but you are below that. Maybe not far enough below. So you're at FF18. Can we get up there without crashing it? So that's actually like the start address, I guess. So EBP is the FF18. Six 4 FF18 minus 44 FED4 FE8 9 10 11 well, 9, 10, A, B, C, D. No, D4. D. Okay, so this is the before we do this, before we even call this. Okay, then. That was random. Well, maybe we had too much memory inspected again, which is a real shame because, like, you kind of need to... Well, I guess I can get the address and maybe watch that. All right, so are we still the same? Yes. So we said that was 6-4 FED4. Can we watch that? Okay, as an int. B6. So if I'm understanding that right, unless it's how the subtraction is done. Oh, we skipped right past the cleanup? Okay, but this did write a 1 into that address. Now, this is not reproducing error, so in our other case, we had it overwritten there. But I don't want to completely step over this. Maybe I have to be in oh, because this is step, not next instruction. So that was minus 44. That is ESP plus 2C, so we ran into trouble. So what is the difference between EVP and ESP? That is lower, and it's using... It's using that as its call space. It doesn't need any of these values afterwards. I don't remember what well, we know that ESP plus was running into EBP minus before. So in that case, let's see, we have gotten past the call. What we had there was that this was overwriting it, I believe. Oh, and then we're done and onto the printf. All right, do we have... I don't need several of these. What is our current... We had a lot of junk in here. Oh, I didn't have an exit on you. Okay, so you are getting 0. And Windows. All right, and then there is no main. All right, so you're at our old friend minus 2FA. So he's got a bigger stack here. Memory explorations haven't been too useful, but we can watch that specific spot. So EBP, C4, FA, ESP, FE, 08, minus 2F8, C4 FP10, that's memory, C4 FP10, okay, right now, okay, that was a step over, moving the X and write the 1 into there. Okay, so for some reason I was thinking these were the exact same offsets last time. They're not the same offsets, but... So this is the 3 nulls, I believe. So ESP is still A4. And 2C is the highest that these offsets go, which would kind of reinforce the idea that it has something to do with like number of arguments. So if we had 1 less argument, it wouldn't overflow quite as much. But I mean, that still means the compiler is calculating it wrong. So how is it? Because I mean, this is like ESP, EBP, So removing that function call would have to change the allocation of those registers in such a way that they didn't overlap. Okay, well, probably that. What was... Right, yeah, because that was way down. When we took this out, that changed this behavior, which is very bizarre. Maybe that like changed the stack size or something? So would it just be I'd have to figure out how to get a similar stack? All right, do I still have this? Registers, we were wondering if that changed our register allocation. Too many windows. Not using you either. Oh, fetch source files, okay. Still, it wasn't the one I wanted. AE4 versus AE0. So for whatever reason, not making that function call changed our ESP. That almost makes you wonder if it has something to do with the DLL call. But we put that call into our test program and did not have the issue. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the actual program stack here. So in this case, it actually put ESP lower. Low enough they don't collide, I guess. So does that suggest that the error has to do specifically with ESP? Well, that doesn't get things updated today. Also, is there product? And I don't know if you can filter by version. Yeah. It's like I almost feel like I just have to submit something and let them figure it out, which isn't great, but I just don't know what to search for. Huh. So what's weird is that it actually changed the ESP value. Could ESP be mismanaged by that function call? That's like the stack pointer, right? Hmm. And we're doing like some crazy DLL stuff. So 1489 is where that happens. You didn't actually exit. $14.89. All right, what do we got? ESP is E0. Seems like that's something that shouldn't change between function invocations, huh? Oh, and it's telling me everything that changed. Does that mean our calling convention is incorrect on this function? If that's the case, then I should be able to see that in like the test setup, but it wasn't in a position where it actually broke the call. Get proc address. Stand call here. All right, so we're going to have to kill all of this stuff. So this might actually technically be a one life bug or a minor gems bug that has always just slipped by the compilers. Ah. Yep, stack corruption. Nice work, sir. Or ma'am, I've never asked. Okay. So this is the only... Wait, so what's the user? Okay, but this is... Oh, but this is... So would this one be it too? It's user 32? I mean, we're not executing that path, but... So in theory, anywhere we see load library in here, we might be running into trouble. Okay. Well, no, this is game SDL. Get proc address. It's just a far proc. Okay, well, that's not actually calling it, so it doesn't matter that much. It's just checking for support. Oh, okay. So it depends on the library. So it's based. So is it just shell core and Win32 or whatever that is, whatever that library was? PA-lib. So PA-lib might be something different. Core Windows things. So PA-lib is probably some sort of... Oh, like Pulse Audio, maybe? Okay, I have gotten onto something else here. Oh, nope, and that was it. So shell core and user 32. Okay, so those should be it, from the looks of things. So it was looking like a compiler bug because our stack was messed up and things were scrunching into each other. Okay, well, we don't need our test program anymore. In theory, this could be a reproduction. It's just the way we had things set up. Was not triggering it here, or it was triggering on a different field, or some bizarro thing like that. So who knows what else may have been affecting it. MSO, right. Well, oh, and I'm presuming here that all of that stuff is going to be in minor gems. Okay. Okay, well, that was just that buffer. Okay, you were a debugger. Oh, but we didn't have anything in minor gems. Okay, so we touched a bunch of stuff. Not all of it is related to this. Oh, maybe I made that public for debugging purposes. And I copied hex dump in. All right, so we've got our WinSock changes. We messed with that. So basically all but the networking stuff. All right, because we haven't actually fixed it yet. That was just resetting things. In 32. And we actually get our full screen parameter. I don't think that would affect the library searcher that's hitting MSys. That is going to be an entirely separate battle. But meanwhile, I need you. He has not made any updates, has he? Oh, I just had this as origin. I've never had to do stuff with minor gems before, so now I actually do kind of need to distinguish those repositories. Win API stand call. Am I actually set up for Vim? Okay. Now game SDL. I know for the game, he has like a change log. This must be all stuff that's in use right now. Sure. Any updates sometimes. So, nope. So it might. I wonder if that's an automated thing, because that's the exact, well, I mean, you'd probably copy the message if you were doing it. So I'm not, it's not like everything has a change log. So maybe I'll leave that up to him. You can't type. Okay, shift does not work in this environment. Oh, isn't that beautiful? This is where I actually want. How? That's probably something debuggable. Hey, Quirky. It's like why doesn't shift work in? OBS says 324. Probably an hour-ish. Get this wrapped up, eat lunch. Maybe check on some other stuff. Wow, no, incorrect calling convention. What was that value? Okay, well, that's the only place I observed it. Yeah, okay. And of course, now we've got. Oh, I can't actually enter. I can't actually enter shifted Vim commands. Well, I guess I can with caps lock. I guess I have to fudge the wrapping. Well, this was the only observed symptom. All right, so we can do, sometimes do ZZ here, but since Shift doesn't work in this window, we'll do that. And then I will have to get a minor gems fork to report that. So I'll also have to be dealing with that over lunch. And then, I might want to do feature work tomorrow. And then maybe Monday we'll try and figure out why MSys2 is trying to get us to link against a 64-bit libp thread. So that's it for now. Actually, I guess if I was going to play today, I could have done feature work today, but that thing had been bugging me. I will have to... Yes, I will need to work on making a build over lunch too, because I don't have my screen control right now. And I also have to check... Well, there was definitely no One Life updates yet. Could be during the stream. We'll have to see when he finishes up sprinklers and stuff. Bye. Well, I see somebody working on open source stuff. Twitch keeps changing its mind whether things are muted by default. See a little bit. And meanwhile, Flipper's Place cool to hang out. Magnificode says he's working on some open source development and management stuff. So that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.